Hi, what I want to show in this video are some of my attempts at making rubble piles and kind of the evolution of the thought process I went through in making them. I first started out because I have a big bag of sprue with making sprue ones, and one of those is right here, and this has been in the background of some videos, and then there's sand on the base. These are all mounted on the for sale signs from Walmart that I buy for like $1.59. This one turned out alright, but there's a lot of gaps, and what I realized towards the end of making rubble piles is they really shouldn't have a lot of gaps. But this does have my semicircular design, which makes or allows me to put them up against the sides of buildings, and this one is actually straight across, and my future ones like this, it actually has the Pegasus Hobbies Gothic set cut out or outlined, so it can actually fit against the main part of the column fairly snugly. There is a gap back here, but it's hard to see, especially if you're playing a game. But I jumped ahead of myself. After I made the sprue, I thought, let me try one with cork, like bulletin board material. So here are layers of cork, and then I also glued some sand on, and this is probably one of the worst rubble piles I came up with. So it looks like a bunch of torn up ceiling tiles to me, but yeah, you can see. Anyways, then I moved on to these architecture bricks, and back here you can actually see with basically a semicircular design. I have two of them pushed together to make a freestanding pile, but otherwise they would go up against the sides of buildings. So again, they have this pattern cut out, and these came in a bag like this. And this is a whole lot easier than casting the Herstart's small brick mold a whole bunch of times. Pegasus Hobbies does have a product like that, but that was from a colleague who happened to have some that maybe he got as a gift, and he re-gifted them to me, noting my interest in gaming. So I've broken up the monotony with basically a popsicle stick, a lollipop stick. So I think these turned out all right, but then the final step I got to was using Herstart's miscasts, and here's my first effort with that. There's still a bunch of gaps in this. There is a little bit of color. One of the things that Mike from Terranscapes points out in one video that I'll link to is you want to break up the monotony, and my other influence has been these Pegasus Hobbies ruins, or rubble rather, and they are really painted with only one or two shades. So they have a darker gray and a light gray, just like I've been painting my stuff, but I go for an even lighter highlight. Back to this first effort, it's almost all Herstart's blocks or miscasts and a lot of plaster. Sometimes when you're casting, there's plaster at the bottom of the cup, and so I've been reusing that. And then there's also some sand, but otherwise it's all plaster. So here's a bag. I don't know what this little dial is doing in there, but a bag of saved plaster. This has all been stuff that's been cast. So it turned out all right, but then I moved on to these hybrid designs. So these feature some sprue, some architecture blocks, and then a whole lot of plaster and just a little bit of sand. And I think the effect is fuller. There's still some little gaps I could maybe go back in and get It's a more realistic look. And then I also, on these, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's some green here, but that's also kind of deliberate because it's been dry brushed light gray, as though it's dust that's settled. So there are some more colors I added into these besides the steel girders, which have been painted as though they've been rusted. You can see it's a little hollow inside. It's not really intentional. I would prefer to have it fuller, but it does look pretty good, I think. And then again, these can be pushed up against each other. And then you can see in the picture what they look like before unpainted. And with all of these, I was really trying to just reuse materials like the plaster, like the bag of sprue, without cutting up something like this Pegasus Hobbies Gothic set. And I know I could get some really nice rubble out of this, but I want to keep the building intact, for now at least, and really just reuse some stuff that maybe I would throw out anyways. Let me know if you know of any other good rubbish or garbage to use for rubble. Thanks.